Good news. Last hour's temperature was minus 3 degrees. It has jumped up to minus 2. Oh, dress warmly when you go out, no doubt about it. Open phones this hour, whatever you'd like to chat about, 989-752-6111, the number to call. Got a caller hanging on already, so let's go talk to Joanne in Saginaw. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Art. It's a pleasure to talk to you this morning.
Same here.
When you were talking about the Choral Society might not be at the Court Street Theater, I just called and talked to one of the gals, and she said it will 100% be there.
Yeah.
They're ready to put the marquee up, so that's all set.
Good. I had made a call in the last hour waiting to hear from them, so I'm glad you called. Excellent.
Yeah, I did.
I kind of thought that was true because we would have heard. I'm pretty sure we would have heard from Mr. Dice if it wasn't going to be ready yet.
Yeah. And just quick, while we're talking about music, I was at the Eddie Band concert at Christmas time.
Yep.
And the way you told the story and integrated with the music, it was probably the best Eddie Band Christmas concert I've ever been to.
Well,
and the music was outstanding.
Yes and yes. I will not take credit for that, though. The idea for the storytelling theme, if you will, came from Joe Radke, who is the outgoing director. I think he's going to be back this summer to direct, I think, the July 4th concert.
Oh, okay. But the music, too, this year was just outstanding.
It was very
wonderful.
they're a terrific group. I mean, these are high-level professional musicians in every way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you were there.
I did.
and you know, where are you going to get a bargain like that? It's free.
right. And I have my tickets already for the one-hit wonders. I'm looking forward to that Choral Society concert.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it should be.
Excellent. Well, Joanne, thanks for your call, and thanks for listening.
Okay.
Take care.
And you have a good day. Thanks.
You too. Bye-bye now. It was the Eddie Band concert every year. It's usually around Thanksgiving. The Christmas concert, which we then broadcast on Christmas Eve, was different this year because normally there's a podium. I come out, introduce things, go backstage while they play, come back out. And Joe Radke wanted to do it differently this year. He wanted it to be like a story being told throughout the concert. So they put a rocking chair on stage next to a table and a lamp and, homey feel. And that's where I sat for the entire concert. Also did something else this year. My late colleague Terry Lenz used to do it. But he had moved to Tennessee and unfortunately last year passed away. But we did the night before Christmas and all through the house, all that stuff, the Christmas story. And I got to do it this year, first time. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. Very, very nice. But I got to sit all night in a chair, and the band was right there in my ear. I gotta love that. It was wonderful. And I'm glad we had a pretty good crowd, too. It was a nice crowd this year, so thank you all for coming. Let's talk to Mike in Frankenmuth. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Art. Mike Redford, Frankenmuth,
hey!
College of Public Media.
How are you, Mike? Welcome to my show.
Well, yeah, it's a blessing, Art. You and I have been friends for a long time. And, it's been a while since I've called in, and I'm actually in the car, so I'll be brief. So I'm just sort of surprised more people aren't talking about health care reform. As you well know, health care premiums are up 20-25% at the end of last year. As most of your listeners know, Congress made failed attempts to continue the Affordable Care Act.
Well, the subsidies.
Also known as along with the subsidies, also known as Obamacare, right?
Yep.
They failed to extend or come up with a new plan. President Trump continues to say, well, whatever new plan we come up with, the money in healthcare reform has to go to, health savings accounts. Okay, fine. That doesn't involve everyone because he doesn't want any healthcare reform monies to go to the insurance companies, but then they do whatever they want with it, and it filters down to us. Yeah. At the end of the day, we don't have a health reform package on a national level. The last couple of weeks, I think there were 18 or 20 House Republicans in Congress that went to the other side to side with the Democrats and say, hey, if we don't have anything, why don't we go ahead and extend the Affordable Care Act another 3 years? Yeah, the reality is, and I'll let this go, whatever side you're on, you don't like the Affordable Care Act, fine. But at the end of the day, we don't have anything.
Yeah.
And I just wish there's more public outcry about health reform, and putting our congressional leaders get their feet to the fire to come up with something.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Let me throw this out at you, Mike, and see what you think. First of all, I've always had a problem with it being called the Affordable Care Act because there was nothing affordable about it.
Right.
You could buy the insurance cheap, but the copay choked you to death. You had these deductibles of like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 before you ever got to get any insurance money, except if you were very, very low income. And I think what's going to happen eventually, and this is just a guess on my part, I think whatever we come up with to improve healthcare in this country, I think there will always be subsidies and help for the low income. And I think that we will have some kind of compromise policy for the rest of America. And who knows, it may look like Medicare, something like Medicare. I have to tell you, I'm not in favor of universal health care. I like the idea of being able to choose. But if we have some kind of Medicare for all, if they also maintain a choice system, well, then I could probably live with that. I have to tell you, a number of years ago, and I'm 83 now, so almost, 20 some odd years ago, I went on Medicare. I had insurance here at the radio station for many, many, many years, and it was decent, but it wasn't cheap. I went on Medicare. My health care treatment was better. Cost out of my pocket was nothing because I bought a supplement. But that's what I mean by choice. Yep, I had Medicare, which is a form of universal health care, but I also had the choice to buy a supplement to take care of the remaining balances that Medicare wouldn't pay. It's worked out very well. I sleep well at night because I'm covered. If we had some system like that, which was a hybrid, it might be worth looking at. But they do have to control the costs. And I'll ask you this, Mike. When was the last time you saw a hospital advertise, come stay with us because we're $10 cheaper than the guy down the road? No. It's come stay with us because we got all the bells and whistles, and we know you want that because your life's at stake. What do you think?
Well, let me just say this. We need transparency when it comes to healthcare costs.
Yes.
Patients, we need to know upfront what the cost of the service is going to be, and you don't really get that. There's a lot of hidden costs. They do the services, and then they tack on more costs after another.
Yeah,
your other point.
You don't even get a detailed bill when you leave the hospital now. You have to ask for it.
Of course
if you want it.
We need transparency in cost. Back to your other point. We're both 65 plus. I'm on Medicare. I'm blessed to have a supplement plan as well. I'm thankful and blessed for that, but not everybody is lucky enough to be in that position. Supplement plans aren't cheap, but again, you and I are lucky enough to have that.
And they go up with their age.
The other thing I'll have is that some of these major mergers of small hospital systems, these large systems, Corewell, Trinity Health, Henry Ford Health Systems. I just learned this week that I don't think Ascension is any longer, right? They get swallowed up by something else.
Well, in this state, I don't know about elsewhere, but in this state, Henry Ford bought a lot of their properties up to Flint. They stopped in Flint, which is why My Michigan Health has the Saginaw Ascension St. Mary's is now My Michigan Health, and all of their northern properties, because Henry Ford didn't want to go farther north than Flint for that.
All right. Well, I'll just say bigger's not better. Just in the last week or so, Trinity Health, which isn't even one of the bigger systems that I mentioned, they've announced 10% layoffs. I don't know how many that is. These are all sort of non-patient jobs, payroll, HR, those kind of things. But again, bigger's not also better. So that's a direction I think we got to look at as well. But I'll leave it at that, Art. Blessed to talk to you. Keep up the good work. And I'd be interested to hear what other callers think about healthcare reform and if their premiums have gone up 15, 20%, even more this year, and why we aren't having more robust conversations on that, except all this other stuff we're getting, other things we're talking about, but this is really important, and I'm passionate about it. So I'll let you go, and I'll continue to listen this morning.
Hey, talk to you, Mike. Thanks. Take care. Mike Redford, folks, we thank him for joining us. I would point out this. All these other distractions we have around the world and everywhere else, so we're talking about a lot of other things other than healthcare. But when you think about it, healthcare is one of those issues that's never going to go away. All these other issues, they'll get resolved eventually. Healthcare, that will always be there. What do we do about it? It's a great question. All right, take a break, come back, and we'll get back to our calls when we return.
We're proud to make...
And we return with more conversation here on the Art Lewis Show. Paul is in Saginaw. Good morning, Paul.
Morning, Art. Art, I want to take a little different angle on this healthcare issue. Back in the old days, I would ask a doctor, what do you think causes cancer? And then I'd ask a coroner back in the old days, what do you think caused the cancer? And I'd get different answers. A lot of these doctors back in the old days would say, well, we don't know what causes cancer. But today, we know that if you want to take care of your own health, we know that if you smoke too much, you might get lung cancer. If you drink too much, you might get liver cancer. If you're exposed to radiation too much, you might get thyroid cancer. And if you eat too much ultra-processed foods, you might get colon cancer, et cetera, and on and on.
Of course, the key word there is might.
Might.
Because correct. If you get in your car today and drive, you might have an accident.
Correct. Yep, that's right. So I think people should spend more time, and our government and insurance companies should spend more time helping us take care of our own health by reducing a lot of these things that might give us cancer. And I don't see that happening right now. Do you?
No. And I don't know that I want it to happen. I want the education. I want the education. I want people to know that if you choose to do this kind of behavior with your food, for example, this may be the result.
Correct.
But that's all I want. I want an educational process because we still have choice. If you want to knock 10 years off your life, well, who am I to stand in your way?
Yeah, but when you go to a grocery store or a drug store and you see on the shelf, all these alcohol products and tobacco products and ultra-processed foods, there's a lot of temptation there. And
let me ask you this. Why do you think they're on the shelves?
They're on the shelves because people buy them.
Aha! Demand. What do you know about that?
And it also creates a lot of jobs, puts a lot of people to work.
Well, not even forget the jobs. I mean, they're on the shelves because there's a demand. If that product didn't sell, they'd get that shelf space to somebody else.
Correct. But
so we have to look at ourselves. I don't want government telling me what's going to be on my grocery shelf. Period.
Right.
Period.
Right.
I want that
but
choice.
But as you know, if people imbibe in all of these things, our health care costs are going to go up. Our health insurance is going to go up. Our hospital bill is going to go up. Our doctor bill is going to go up, et cetera,
well, let's take a look at that, all right? Smoking. Way down. We don't have nearly the smokers in this country we used to have, except that we do have some vapors. Yeah, I'll give you that. But we don't have the smoking that we used to have in this country. Not at all.
Right.
And what happened there is they've taxed it to the point where it's ridiculous to smoke. It's expensive.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the nature of the beast. If you know, processed foods, what do you consider processed foods? Anything other than the raw material?
Well, you know, your pies, cakes, cookies, candy, you know, that kind of category.
Yeah. So what do you want to do? You
stuff,
want to pull those off the shelf?
Stuff. Well,
what do you think the public reaction would be?
Healthier ingredients, maybe healthier ingredients might be the answer.
You can actually find that when you go to the stores. You can find things that are made with healthier ingredients. They cost more, and they don't sell as well.
Right.
But they're there. If you look for them, you
That's
can find
true.
them.
That's true.
So, you know, listen.
But
I just don't want Big Brother telling me what I can eat and not eat.
I get that too, but I think we need to do something because I don't see, you know, I see America getting sicker and sicker, not healthier and healthier. That's what I see down the road, and I see our costs going up higher and higher.
All right.
So,
fair enough.
That's my opinion.
Good enough, Paul. Thanks.
All right.
Care. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
And let's talk to Mark this morning. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
Good.
Hey, my angle on the health care is administrative costs that they run advertising on TV. You didn't see that in the 50s and 60s in the daytime shows and nighttime shows, but you can't watch today's programs without, in the afternoon, having 5 or 6 different ailments that can cure you, and then at nighttime, or kill you or heal you. And then it takes the consumer to go to their doctor now and ask for that $800 script or that $1,500 script.
Yeah,
the doctor should be educated enough to put those products when the customer comes in and asks, hey, I got this ailment. Well, I got this for you. Instead of putting advertising on there 24/7 on our TVs and having consumers go and ask for that overpriced product, it should be taken off the TVs and left to the doctors who they trust to make that judgment.
First of all, it is left to the doctors because you can't buy it unless the doctor writes the script. But here's the deal. You've identified it without realizing it. The reason those ads are there is so you go to your doctor and ask for that drug as opposed to some other drug that he may give you.
Right, that's what increases the cost all across the board.
Well, of course it does, but that's the nature of the beast. That's why it's there. It's there to, persuade you to remember that name when you go to your doctor. It's unfortunate. It's the nature of the beast, though. It's true of everything. I mean, you can buy generics and you can buy brand names, and you buy brand names because they're advertised. Well, anything, right. It's you name it.
It's marketing.
Exactly.
Is what it is.
Well, that's what it is, the
doctor should do the marketing and not the consumer at home on medications.
Here's the other part. Here's the other thing that costs us more on drugs. We create a lot of them here, and we pay for that, while the rest of the world gets them cheaper.
Correct, yeah, and that's supposed to hopefully change with the upcoming new framework.
Hopefully that will.
Hey, what are your thoughts on what was it, Dovis or whatever they were at yesterday
Davos.
on that German meeting, Davos. Mark Carney spoke out and also signed a deal with China, but also was saying that if we take Greenland, they would go against us, Article 5 and stuff like that. What do you think of him leading his country like that and threatening the U.S. and then signing a deal with China, getting cars, they say, that potentially could, from China, listen in or spy devices?
Well, they're talking about
like
China's car industry is huge. BCD is a big company. And the thing to be aware of is they're making quality automobiles. Everything I've read about them is they're very good cars. Can't get them in this country because we don't allow them imported. In terms of what he does for his country and what he signs, that's up to him.
Correct.
I do think, according to the news reports, that they've come up with a framework of a deal which provides us security and land that's leasable for bases and early warning systems. That's fine. I do not support in any way, shape, or form us marching in and saying we're going to take over Greenland. To me, that's just plain wrong.
Yeah, but
and
we're
it's
not
also
doing
as
that.
important to NATO as it is to us. And this whole deal is framed around NATO, and I think it's fine if we can get the ability to increase the size of the space base there that monitors for missiles. That's fine. It's a pretty barren land. Let's put it that way. I mean, they have a very, very small population.
There was supposed to be a new peace alliance with a lot of other countries over there, and Canada backed out of that peace alliance. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's up to them. They change their mind from time to time.
Well,
That's that Board of Peace or whatever President Trump called it.
Correct. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's brand new. Who knows what's going to happen with that?
But have you seen Canada act this way before? And do you see it as
No, but I haven't seen the United States act the way we acted toward them either. We looked at them all of a sudden as a trading enemy, and tariffs and all that stuff. So wouldn't you expect a reaction from Canada? I would. Now, I don't think much of their current prime minister in Ontario, but they do what they have to do. To me, as far as Michigan goes, I think one tool we have in the box is to shut off their garbage flow.
Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. But, the OHL, like the Spirit and stuff, they travel to Canada. Do you ever see it getting so much friction that gets shut off to where they just stop that type of stuff?
No, hockey's too big in Canada.
Yeah.
All right, I got to run. I'm late here. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Hometown feel and
I think subsidies drive up costs, and I think it's time we just, let the health industry figure out how to price the product. So
the problem with that is historically they haven't done a good job of it. And it goes back to what I said earlier. It's one of my favorite things to say. You don't find hospitals advertising, come stay with us because we're $10 cheaper. It's come stay with us because we got all the bells and whistles that'll save your life. And as consumers, that's what we want. No doubt about it.
Well,
but there's a cost.
Well, and I see what I see happening with that is they not only they're expanding and they're building new facilities, and we need state-of-the-art facilities, don't get me wrong, but every hospital is in a race to see who can build the greatest and best facility, and and they don't build just facilities that are of good quality. They put all this extra fancy stuff into their facilities, and who pays for that? That just gets added to the healthcare cost.
Yeah, but it's again, this goes back to what we the consumers demand. I want to know if I have a health condition and I go to the hospital, they're going to have that fancy equipment that can save my life.
Oh,
And that's what they respond to.
That.
That's what they respond to.
I agree with that, but I don't know that the lobbies and all of the, other parts of the buildings, have to be built to this extreme
Yeah, but you know what?
levels.
You know what? All that fancy decorative stuff is infinitesimal in the cost of that hospital and the equipment that has to go into every room and the air requirements and all of that. I understand what you're saying because it gives you an image of, wow, what a lot of waste. But in reality, the lobby is probably the cheapest part of that building.
I agree. And it's just
image.
part of the whole aspect of it, not only image, but building duplicate facilities that can they really justify having a new emergency room on the west side of Bay City for McLaren? Is that justified?
I don't know. I would have to see what studies they'd use to say that. Could be. For all I know, I don't know what the use is going to be. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, and that's the part that I question. Is anybody watching this? Is there used to be a healthcare advisory group that determined how many beds were acceptable in an area?
I think you still have to get permission to build that new emergency room. I don't think you can just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to build one.
Yeah, I don't know, but this is just. I just wanted to clarify Mike Redford's comments and make sure people realize that the Affordable Care Act didn't go away. So
glad you did. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it. Take care.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Delmar, hang on. We'll get to you right after these notes.
Wesley is a truck driver.
It's broccoli.
Oh, really?
Broccoli is sprayed with insecticides, pesticides to kill worms, to kill snails. And broccoli grows so fast and it's so porous of a plant that it just sucks up all those chemicals into the plant. You can't wash it out. You can't boil it out. It's in the plant. You're going to eat that plant. You're going to get all those insecticides and pesticides.
Must be why I never liked broccoli.
Some bunches of broccoli, are ready for this, had over 25 different insecticides and pesticides in them.
Oh, lovely.
I know it. And people don't know that they're eating that.
There's a lot of things we don't know what we're eating. And, even if there's labels, how many people read them?
Yeah, there's no label on broccoli. See, and the thing is, a lot of these people say, well, I'm gonna get whole foods, stuff that's, organically grown, but you don't know what's in the air when it rains that day.
Well, you can't protect yourself from everything. Let's be honest.
It soaks right into the plant. But broccoli, if you ever saw broccoli, how it grows, you cut off that head of broccoli, in less than a week, you got another head of broccoli there to cut off again. That's how fast it grows.
Yeah.
That's how fast it incorporates those chemicals into the plant.
That's why it's everywhere.
Broccoli. I love it. I eat it 3 times. I know it's dangerous, but I still eat it.
Well, and you don't sound unhealthy.
No, it's amazing. But the other guy who called about hospitals, I had called you once before that back in 2014. I knew I had something wrong, and I have a really high medical degree. And went in for an abdominal ultrasound here in Saginaw. It was negative. And I insisted on going down to U of M, and 2 weeks later, I had the same test done 2 weeks later. I had bladder, liver, and kidney cancer.
Wow.
2 weeks later, yeah.
Yeah.
So just amazing. It doesn't matter where you go. Sometimes someone's going to mess up, and it might be on you,
No guarantees in life.
You got it. And went down to U of M, and it took me 10 years to beat it. But,
well, you beat it, though. That's the good news.
Yeah, I went to the right place. Right doctors, right treatment. Bye, Art.
Good enough. Take care. Bye-bye now, Delmar. And here is Jim in Harrison. Jim, good morning.
Good morning. I'm calling about the pharmaceutical. When they spend more on advertising than they do research. It used to be that pharmaceuticals could not advertise, and and also the CEOs make so much money with the pharmaceuticals. That would help reduce the costs by getting rid of the advertising.
Well, I wouldn't. I'm not going to argue that point because I think you're probably right. It would reduce the costs, but there are also, for many of these drugs now, there's generics. The reason they advertise is because they only have a window to sell their product at the maximum price. Because before long, after a number of years on the market, the